Google Hangouts are going, oh woe is us. Google Hangouts are going, oh what are we gonna do now? Google Hangouts are necessary for communicating on YouTube, doing live streams with more than one person. What are they gonna replace it with? Nothing, nothing, nothing. What is this?
Hospital porters, pride and dignity, stop the New World Order. Welcome to Hapanwo TV. Well, this is the 31st of July 2019, and in just over 6 hours time Google Hangouts will cease to work. Google Hangouts will be discontinued and they will no longer be available. Now this is a very unhappy development in the annals of many other things that I've talked about relating to YouTube, censorship and internet freedom. And you may think, well, what's all this about? I'll explain. Google Hangouts is something you probably watch so often, if you watch the kind of videos that I do, that you probably don't even notice it. You probably don't even realise it. You may just see the word Google Hangouts and then just watch a video and think, oh, that's a good video, I enjoyed that. The actual removal of that it's actually an enormous impact. Google Hangouts, just to be straight, is an internet communication device. You can send messages, you can do video calls, things like that. You can have conference calls. You can have up to, I think, 12 people on the line at a time. It's very similar to Skype or Zoom or various other types of internet communication systems. This particular application, it's been around for quite a long time actually. I can't remember when it started, but it was one of the Google suite of programs that came out. And of course there are plenty of alternatives we can use. I just mentioned them: Skype, Zoom, OBS. There's lots and lots of others. But Google Hangouts is unique. What makes Google Hangouts is unique is that you can broadcast your call live on YouTube. That's what makes it unique. This is why it's so special, and this is why its removal is such a major blow to internet, well, certainly for this place specifically YouTube users. Now if you go to the links in the description box, I'll left links to the other YouTube problems that we've been having lately, and I've said before that YouTube is gearing up for a new brand. It's basically changing itself slowly but surely, bit by bit. You can just see it. Every single move it makes, every different development and upgrade it makes is simply there to transform it into a mainstream media outlet. I mean, you've heard jokes about YouTube TV. Well, it's not. It's a satirical joke. It's not funny. That's precisely what they're doing. Google took over YouTube. YouTube started as an independent website, and it was bought out by Google. It's now just simply a division of Google. That is basically why Hangouts became YouTube. Hangouts could therefore be broadcast live on YouTube. But they're doing away with it now. Google are now doing away with it. So they're just sort of saying, we're just going to stop it. And it's sad. It's sad because, of course, because they can. There's nothing to prevent them. There's no regulation. There's no law they have to obey to prevent them doing this. Despite the fact they essentially have a super monopoly. Now, I've discussed the issues of, oh, but they're a private company. I've discussed that in the other videos in the background links. I'm not going to go through those issues again. I'm just going to refer you to the links in the description box where I talk about the, oh, but they're a private company, they can do what they like arguments. Because that's an important, it's important to get a grip of that actually, to understand this. Yes, they're a private company, but they are essentially a super monopoly. Certain websites are really public utilities. I was watching a documentary actually on RT where they were talking, just the other day, and they were talking about how Google, 90% of internet searches are by Google. Yes, it's a private company, but it essentially has a super monopoly. That's the point. So they decided to pull the plug. They're pulling the plug on Google Hangouts, and this is going to end at midnight tonight. Now, I'm not making this video for myself as such, because I've never used Google Hangouts. I've never hosted. Only once have I hosted a Google Hangout, and that was just a test call because I was training someone else up in how to use them. That's the only time. It was a private video. I never published it. It was just to test the system and to educate someone else on how to use them. But I know other people who do, and other people who use Google Hangouts all the time. There's some big names such as Sargon of Akkad, but there's also people like Caroline Stevens. If you go to her channel, Caroline Stevens Seeking the Truth, you'll see lots of videos there, including some with me. They are Google Hangouts. They're all Google Hangouts. Now, you might think it's not the end of the world, and it's not, but it is an enormous blow to independent content creators, and there is no alternative. There is no other app that can be used to broadcast live on YouTube, or indeed any other video sharing website. Now, I'm sure that will change, and I'll come on to that in a minute, but YouTube are basically pulling the rug out on Google Hangouts, just without so much as a by your leave, without so much as an apology, which is it's going to leave millions of content creators just stranded. People who depend on the application for use. Basically, anyone who hosts live interviews on YouTube needs Google Hangouts, and there is no alternative. Now, there is something in the pipeline called Google Meet, which is going to be a replacement for Google Hangouts, but I think it's still in primary. It's not even there. I don't think it even has it doesn't even have a website yet. I think it's still being designed. It's still in primary state. It's going to be a long time before that is available, if it even becomes available, if Google don't abandon it. And you could argue that Google Hangouts is a bit old-fashioned, and it is. In fact, it hasn't been updated for several years, so it's kind of moribund. It's one of these vestigial programs, like Google Plus. You know, do you remember they had Google Plus, and then Google decided to abandon it? Well, losing Google Plus wasn't the end of the world, because Google Plus was just kind of a Google Twitter sort of thing. Losing that wasn't the end of the world. Losing Google Hangouts is going to be, it's going to be completely transform the way some people are going to have to do YouTube, and it's going to be a major hampering. It's going to hamper their efforts enormously. Now, Caroline and I have talked about this. She's not now in a position where she's going to stop making videos. She can still do the videos, but she can't do them live. There's literally, she can talk solo live, like just simply by using the Go Live system on YouTube. Just press Go Live, and you can do a solo monologue like the ones I've done, my own sort of live streams. But if you want to have more than one person do an interview with someone, you have to have Hangouts. You have to have Google Hangouts. It's the only thing that works on YouTube. Oh, this is a very, very casual, very, very nasty, but a typically contemptuous attack on independent content creators that we've come to expect from Google. And indeed, you see it in the links in the description box, all my other YouTube Problems videos. You will see that. You will see that every single step they've taken, every different change they make is designed to make life harder for the independent content creators. And forget the fact, they do have no respect for the fact that it's the independent content creators that made YouTube what it is. YouTube, the clue's in the name. It's like it's a TV thing for yourself. Gives you the chance to broadcast yourself. YouTube. It's like having your own TV channel. And this is not going to affect CNN. It's not going to affect BBC. It's not going to affect all the other Fox and all the other people who use YouTube, all the other mainstream media outlets that use YouTube. It's not going to affect them, because they have their like house systems for doing this. So they just simply broadcast their programs using the live system. Google Hangouts is specifically to benefit small-time content creators that don't have these expensive interview systems. It's specifically for independent content creators, and they're just getting rid of it without so much as a do you mind or a buy your leave. This is an attack on independent content creators. This is the latest in a series of attacks on independent content creators. And I've discussed the others before. The copyright issues and things like that. The copyright issues, the limited state things, putting people in limited state, the censorship. Oh my God, you said the wrong word. Oh, I know you don't mean any harm, but we're gonna block your video in every country in the world except San Salvador. Things like that. That is, it's a list, it's a litany, it's a stage by stage by stage hint. It's an elbow in the rib. It's like if you're a party and people keep going like this, like that. Ben, isn't it time you were getting along now? I think we're going to have to go to bed soon. Yes, I think the things are one. It's like that. It's like they're not telling us we want you out. They're just dropping hints. They can't say it openly they want you out because they know there'd be a backlash. So they're saying it surreptitiously in the hope that we won't respond. It's what always happens. Oh, as I said, YouTube is becoming YouTube TV. There will literally be people like me, independent content creators, who talk about politically incorrect and what's the phrase they use? Opinions running contrary to the scientific consensus. People who do that are no longer wanted on this platform. Indeed, we are being slowly but surely edged out. The thing is, losing Google Hangouts is going to affect a lot of other people. It's going to affect left-wing people. It's going to affect skeptics too, because they use Google Hangouts. Kevin Logan, who I love poking fun at, as you know, he depends on Google Hangouts. So does Christy Winters, Steve Shives, and all these other people, these other sort of like SJW type people depending on them. Funnily enough, Steve Shives was doing a video the other day. He was doing a kind of Slackser type video where he was walking in the woods. And he was riling it, saying he'd written to Susan Wojcik, the CEO of YouTube, just telling her again, you need to do something, and you need to increase your censorship. You need to remove these evil Nazis like Sargon of Akkad, and these horrible people who want to kill all ethnic minorities, like Dave Cullen, as if you see how they he didn't actually say those words, but that's what he was hinting. I mean, he was literally portraying us as demonic and saying YouTube really rather than slow down in their campaign of censorship against people Steve Shives doesn't agree with, he thinks they should step it up. They should increase it. Well, guess what, Steve? Now this latest development from YouTube has you affected too, because you do Hangouts too, don't you, Steve? So Steve Shives does Hangouts too, so he's affected by this. Will it alter his position, I wonder? Will it alter his position? I don't know. I've got a feeling he's too invested now to go back. But I said there's no alternative. There's nowhere else you can go. I mean, there are video sites. There are video sharing sites such as I've talked before, BitChute, and the much lamented VidMe and PewTube. They're gone now, but there'll always be some that come and go. Now BitChute is still there. BitChute, I'm very confident, is going to hang around. BitChute seems to have some kind of staying power because it's been out there over a year now. It seems to be tackled its funding issue, so I'm confident that BitChute is going to endure. Don't know for certain. Well, if it will, I've got a feeling it will. And if it doesn't, then someone else will. There is a market for this sort of thing. Now there are also new live streaming sites. There's StreamMe and there's DLive, to name just two. Also on I think on Minds now has a video sharing system. Gab you can live stream if you're a paid member. And there's going to be other alternatives. Now it's only a matter of time before some bright spark with IT skills comes up with a solution to the lack of Google Hangouts, and when that happens, it won't be on YouTube. It's going to be on BitChute, or it's going to be on one of the other independent free speech sites. So everyone who wants to do live interviews online will use those. I'm sure Caroline will go there. Sargon will go there. Steve Shives and Kevin Logan won't dirty themselves to go in places like that. But there may well be something similar for the SJWs. You never know. All that YouTube are doing, the knock-on effect of this is YouTube are harming them. They're harming themselves by this. They're harming their own business interests in order to comply with the political agenda. It shows how important that political agenda is, and it shows how incredibly it just shows how much they value it. It's how they're willing to sacrifice everything. I mean, very few. How many other corporations do you know that will sacrifice profit for something else? Profit is number one issue. It's how you earn a living in the private sector, under capitalism. It's how you earn a living. How many companies or corporations will actually do that? It just shows you how how important, that's what I wanted to say, the people introducing this agenda of censorship, how incredibly important they are, how powerful they are, to be able to dictate to one of the world's biggest internet companies, in fact the biggest internet company, what to do against the interests of its own financial well-being. And you think, have you ever seen The Dragon's Den? Although Alan Sugar and all these other people, they're like business coaches, and new people starting out new businesses appear in front of them, and they have to pitch their ideas. And they're always, it's a bit like some of them are quite mean, and some of them are nicer. It's rather like Strictly Come Dancing or something. And Alan Sugar goes, you can just imagine some guy coming in front of them saying, I've got an idea. It's for an internet search engine and general video sharing and other sorts of things. We provide a general internet service, and we've got a brilliant idea. Yes, our business plan is very simple. We would like to get rid of as many videos as we can and prevent people from seeing them, and therefore reducing our ad revenue as well as their own. We want to ban all the most interesting videos, and we just hope that all our clients love seeing puppies playing in a paddling pool and all other kinds of internet trivia and unboxing and things like that. That's our business plan. Yes, we want to reduce our profits as much as possible, and we want to make our video sharing site as bland and as boring to prevent as many people watching as possible, so that as few people as possible will watch, and as few people as possible will watch our ads. So yeah, we're hoping if anyone wants to advertise, just let us know. What do you think, Dragons? You just imagine, can't you? You've seen the programme, yeah. You see, This just goes to show how important this agenda is. It's the internet censorship is the #1 priority of all things. And these so-called independent private companies, they're a private company. They can do whatever they like. Well, no, they can't do whatever they like, because they're doing what these people tell them to. If they're a private company, why don't they tell these people who want to bring in this political agenda to silence people like me and anyone to the right of Joseph Stalin, who talks about anything that doesn't come straight out of the mouth of Professor Brian Cox? Why don't these independent companies tell these people to go to hell? No, we're a private company. If we want to host these videos make us a lot of money. They're very popular. We advertise on them, we let them advertise, we have like the ad share sense, so the content creator and we both benefit from people watching it, so we're going to keep these videos, so fuck off. They don't, do they? So where's the private company argument there, guys? Eh? Don't you see your private company argument? That's another reason why it falls apart. Because these organisations don't behave like private companies when state institutions tell them what to do. So in a sense, they're not. People say they're private companies, they do what they like. Things I don't think they really would want to do this. I think they're being told to do this, and the idea, private companies, they can do whatever they like. Well, I don't think really deep down. I wonder what the shareholders really think about this. Don't go buying shares in Google, whatever you do. Don't buy their stocks and shares, because you will lose everything. Now, as I said, this is another stage along. This is another step along the road. It's another stage toward complete internet takedown. The good news is, you can't have complete internet takedown. All you can do is that you can have an internet that is different from the one we have now. The World Wide Web, as we know it, will simply become another. As I said, it's being enveloped and infiltrated and infected with an agenda to turn it into another part of the mainstream media. The good old days of the early internet. That I long for those days. You know, all those wonderful content creators who just said what they liked and no one cared. If you didn't like it, you could block them, or you could make a rude video back to them. There was this wonderful guy who, well, he wasn't a wonderful guy. He was like this IRA supporter, an American bloke, Irish American guy who wore like the IRA uniform and sunglasses, and he would do like rants in front of his camera about the IRA. And this other guy, this English guy, came on and did videos slagging him off, and he was very calm like this, and he would go, yeah, and he's saying, you know, you're sick, man. You're evil. Yeah, fuck you, man, and fuck you. Yeah, I'm going to say it again, man. Fuck you, and things like this. And he was very calm, and he had spoken that calm voice, but he was incredibly rude to this guy. And this IRA bloke would then make another video saying, I received a video from this guy. I received a video from this person telling me to fuck myself. And then they would go on. These like responses would go on and on and on, backwards and forwards. And we were just left alone to get on with it. If it got too bad, you could always block the person. And there were some wonderful content creators like Red Phantom, who's gone now. Oh, there was one in the early days of YouTube. It was fun. I was lucky. I got into YouTube just a couple of years after it started, and those halcyon days. I feel nostalgic for those days. There's carefree days where you didn't have to worry. You could say what you wanted, and we were treated as adults. Basically, the content creators were treated as adults, and the viewers were treated as adults. Now we're treated as stupid little kids who may have taken the wrong options at school, and we need to be corrected. Oh, so the World Wide Web eventually will become. I think it can't really be stopped. That the World Wide Web will be, which depends on, you know, hosts and things like that, will eventually be taken over because it's now controlled by such a small number of monopolies who don't give a damn about either the people who use them, the people they call content creators. It's a very, very respectful tone, isn't it? It's a wonderful piece of Orwellian propaganda, that content creators. They don't regard us as creators, and they don't care about our content. They want us out. But there's we can't really stop them when these super monopolies exist that are so dependent so compliant with these regulations, these state institutions that demand. They demand a party line, and these so-called independent companies are saying, yes sir, we'll do it right now, so we'll delete that person, delete that person. But the good news is they can't stop people using the internet. They would have to uninvent the computer and uninvent phone lines, basically, to stop people doing what we do. As I said, the internet will split into two. There's the mainstream internet will be the boring stuff. It'll be the mainstream news, the lies, mainstream TV programs, soap operas, puppies, like I say, kittens, things like that. All the boring mainstream stuff. The stupid teenagers, these overrated fools who go around going, "Hey man, yeah, this is our latest video, man," and things like that. Who make £1 million a minute, just talking drivel. They'll be allowed on there, and then there'll be Internet 2. That will consist of the dark web, blockchain systems, peer-to-peer systems. Like BitChute is a peer-to-peer system, and there's blockchain systems like Steemit and things like that, and DLive. What's it called? DTube, which is DTube is basically Steemit's video sharing branch. It's a bit crude at the moment, but it's improving. BitChute, like I say, is thriving at the moment. That's where the interesting stuff's going to go. That's where you're going to get your paranormal investigations. That's where you're going to get your radical politics. That's where you're going to get your conspiracy theories. That's where you're going to get your ufology and all the UFO investigations and things like that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, when that time comes, the great shutting, well, it's sort of, well, say when it's come, it's in the process now. When that process is complete, that is where you will find me. Do remember, if for any reason I vanish, you know where to find me. Subscribe to me on BitChute. Subscribe to me on Gab, Minds, MeWe, on Stella. You'll find me there. And there's many more. DLive, I'm on DLive now as well. I've got an account there. I haven't used it yet, but it's there for when I need it. And I will do a test stream at some point, actually. I'll let you know when that happens beforehand, so you can come and join me on the air. So no doubt, I mean, I've actually just read that just when I was researching for this particular program, this particular video, I've just found out that BitChute are just about to do an experiment with live streaming, which is great because you can't live stream on there now. If that's successful and they actually get a live streaming service, it's only a matter of time before they find some way of having like multiple users on at the same time, or something like, or some way to maybe embed Skype or something like that. The way that YouTube essentially, what YouTube does, it essentially embeds Google Hangouts, and it doesn't allow you to embed anything else. But what you'll do is on DTube, and BitChute, you'll probably find some with embedding Skype or Zoom or something like that, and or they may even start up their own kind of system that way, their own application, using like open source software to create like a video telephoning service, which then they can invent. It'd be called BitChute phone or something like that, and you can embed that into BitChute. YouTube have, like I say, YouTube have announced this Google Meet thing is coming up, but when, like I say, when Google Meet comes along, we don't know if it's even going to be there. And if it does, we don't even know if it's going to function and to replace Google Hangouts. But for those of you, like if Caroline as well, if she's watching, don't give up. You can still do recordings and upload the recordings. That would have to do for now if you're going to use YouTube. But fear not, a replacement is coming. Where there's a will, there's a way. There's a market for this stuff, and indeed advertisers are starting to understand that, which is why these alternative sites, these alternative video sharing sites, alternative social media, alternative blogs and things like that, they're going to become easier and easier to fund, because advertisers are going to want to get in there. YouTube's loss is their gain. So, well, unless my channel gets taken down, there'll be more videos soon. If it's not, those videos will be on BitChute anyway. I've got a couple more videos already filmed, and I'm just editing them, so they'll be coming out very soon. Thank you all for watching Hapanwo TV. Hospital Porters, pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order.
Nothing, nothing, nothing. What does this mean for us independent content creators? It means we're not welcome anymore. Welcome anymore. YouTube want us out. They want us out. They want us out because we're politically incorrect, and we hold views that are contrary to the scientific consensus. But there is hope. There will be alternatives coming soon.